for having me back to Lyrics, Lit, and Liquor. Glad to be back. And the bookmarks have also social media contacts, so if anybody wants to connect, I do follow back. This is a new piece, which is just a personal essay. A user's guide to appreciating art in the city. You will be drawn to New York City for the creative energy pulsing through its crowded streets, the inspiration at every gridded turn, and the hordes of talent that will surround you. You have your own artistic ambition, and you will want to be a part of it, in the very heart of it. You will breathe in art like air. Upon arrival, you will get lost in the Met, wander through the Whitney, become mesmerized by the MoMA. Amazed by the endless flow of art and opportunities, you'll explore exhibits, art walks, open studios, and even the open mic nights that seem to be calling you from every corner of your neighborhood. Announced on sidewalk menu boards, also promoting 2-for-1 drinks, a combo you can't pass up. You will walk in alone. At first, you'll find the nervous comics, rambling poets, and rhyming rappers, courageous and quirky. You will finally begin to make friends, artsy ones, photographers, filmmakers, painters, performance artists. The more eccentric, the better. The more unconventional their art, the more worthy it will be of your attention. And you will support them fully, going to all of their openings, experimental jazz shows, and short films in dive bars and underground theaters. Now that you actually have friends, you'll often meet up with large groups of them at open gallery nights, usually as part of Fashion Week, Design Week, Furniture Week, in Soho, Chelsea, the meatpacking district. Free booze and gift bags seem to be the main draw. You will find you spend more of the night waiting in lines than in the actual venues, so that just getting inside is a thrill. But once inside, you'll have to fight the ostentatious crowds in search of your clan, as you see someone grab the last bag of swag and watch the room grow frantic when the bartender announces they're out of vodka. So you will rush to the bar to secure a glass of wine before it too runs out, because you are learning that these events are more fun with vast amounts of alcohol. So you will drink a lot. You will spend the entire time coordinating with a handful of friends, texting, "Where are you now?" as you continue to barely miss each other, probably walking right past each other, both glued to your iPhones. You will end up running from showroom to showroom in search of the best party, never quite finding it. And you will go to industry events that are not even in your industry, along with flamboyant types who have no real jobs, but make a career out of going to these type of free functions. One evening, you'll find yourself traipsing through a bunch of tile showrooms on a strip of 22nd Street, mingling with faucets and bathroom hardware as part of some interior design promotion. You will realize later that other than getting inspired by the occasional lighting installation or sleek silverware set, that these parties are a combination of pretension and desperation and should be avoided. But you will not notice that in the beginning, and you will enjoy them. There will come a time when you reach mass capacity, be it 5, 10, or 20 years in. This tolerance level is unique to the individual, depending on the amount of cringeworthy art experience multiplied by one's natural inclination towards cynicism. Like an exposed light bulb dangling from a wire at yet another industrial loft, you will burn out. You will begin to question what is an exhibit, what is exhibitionism, and what is just a homeless man taking a dump in the lit vestibule of a bank in front of an ATM machine. And while you understand that art conveys different, unique meaning to each viewer, you define bad art as such, painful to look at and a waste of time to behold. Yes, art is subjective, but you don't have to be subjected to it. You will learn to just say no, or at least limit the amount of off-putting sensory experiences you're exposed to by weighing the risk versus the reward. First off, check your obligation level. Is it a friend or a friend of a friend of a friend? Check the venue, check the talent, and most of all, check your mood. While you'll get better at it, it can still be a gamble. You will end up at a friend's partner's dance performance against your better judgment. The choreography will include dancers rolling around on the floor, slithering like slugs, then spazzing out like they're having simultaneous seizures. In the next number, a member will be called from the audience to sit at a table covered in broken glass and hold hands with a dancer, and then pretend to eat invisible food that another dancer hand feeds the poor participant. You will attend an interactive theater piece where the actors make the audience close their eyes. You will hear an actor pass clumsily through the aisle, and then you will feel a feather duster brushing across your nose. You will have to squeeze your eyes shut and wait patiently as numerous actors bang their way down all the aisles, tripping over purses and knees, to tickle the faces of all audience members. You won't be tickled or amused. You'll learn to avoid any installation involving baby doll heads, or worse, baby doll porn. By this point, you'll have seen it all. You'll find that dolls used in any configuration are like a totem shouting to the world, "I'm a struggling Brooklyn artist, and I will always be struggling." Rather than inspire you, bad art will tire you, freezing up your creative juices, making you question your own work in an introspection so deep it will numb your soul. It will instantly age you, make you count every passing minute. You will eye the door repeatedly, losing the thread of the storyline while you plot ways to make your escape without causing a scene. But you realize no scene could be worse than the one you're already watching. And you will dart for the door before the lights come up. And sometimes that's the best way to circumvent another thing you should always avoid if you didn't appreciate the performance, getting roped into conversation with the artist. If you're not able to make the great escape, you'll likely find yourself at an intimate after party having a glass of cheap wine as a sort of communal reward for stoically suffering through the event. But you'll be expected to discuss and critique your friend's bad art, forcing you to formulate a response that allows you to remain true to yourself while still being somewhat supportive. Interesting often works. You'll be asked to donate on GoFundMe, which will invoke this response: "Why don't you GoFund me? I have dreams, I'm creative, and I have more great ideas than I can count. Like opening a record store, going on a book tour, attending an artist retreat. Just substitute your dream here." Yes, sadly, rather than appeal to your sense of empathy, GoFundMe will bring out your own greedy ambition. Then when actually moved to donate to these personal projects rebranded as causes, you will be forced to follow every move on social media until you are guilted into attending the event. Yet the ultimate challenge is gauging when to say yes to art. You will still want to take advantage of the city you so desperately wanted to live in, not to remain trapped in your tiny apartment, gripped by the fear of being underwhelmed. So you might choose to savor the soothing sounds of a friend's harp concert at a boutique hotel. You will get chills from the Batala drum performance featuring 50 female drummers, even though it's all the way out in Bushwick. You will discover which of your many photographer friends' work you actually like, and you will buy one of his prints and frame it on your wall. And you will even participate in open gallery nights occasionally on glorious summer evenings when the weather is just right. But you're not the social butterfly you used to be. Now you often crawl into your cocoon. These days, you prefer to spend time in the company of your new best friends, named Netflix and Hulu, which offer some quite artsy documentaries from the comfort of your sofa. But you emerge now and then to go to the Armory Art Show or to take a life drawing class at the Art Students League. You still like to go to the major museums alone again, like when you first moved here, but now by choice, so you can better absorb it. You'll ask yourself, who has changed, me or the city? Yet you know you've grown older and more complacent while the city has as much to offer as ever. But by being selective, you can still get lost in the magic without getting sucked up in the madness. The talent still astounds you. The work still sustains you. And you understand that if it wasn't for all the bad stuff, we wouldn't have the good stuff. And of course, you know this firsthand. You've produced your fair share of bad art. In fact, recently you created an oil painting so awful you couldn't stand the sight of it. You had several 10 by 10 inch canvases sitting around and thought of painting a letter form of the alphabet on each of them using antiquated fonts in bright colors. But even the letter A was a disaster. It looked like a Martha Stewart craft gone wrong. Walking past your failure each day put you in a foul mood, so you decided to dispose of it, considered leaning it on the trash cans outside. After all, one person's trash is another person's treasure. But you couldn't think of a single soul who would appreciate this piece. It would look terrible even in a toddler's bedroom. So you buried it deep in a neighbor's bin, face down. Yes, you've had your share of misses, and you're hoping being up on the stage is not one of them. But as art is subjective, you will have to thank your audience, made up mostly of longtime friends, for their continued support. Thank you.